Hey, Heather, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for calling. How can we help?
Well, I'm in an interesting position where my ex-husband is dying of cancer. He just was notified last week that he maybe has about a month to live.
So
And
sorry.
so,
Oh, so sorry, Heather.
yeah, thank you. So he and I, when we were married, we both got term life insurance
Speak
policies.
directly into your phone, Heather. We're having a hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry, is this any better?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. So we have term life insurance policies, and I am the beneficiary of his policy because we do have two children together. And I guess my question is, when he passes, should I anticipate that I will pay for his funeral with that money, even if I'm not permitted to plan it because because we're divorced, or what? I guess I'm wondering, like, what should I maybe anticipate
Who else would,
doing?
would be involved with the planning?
His mom and dad. He's currently living with his mom and stepdad, and so they'll probably head up the planning. But his dad and stepmom are also around and may be able to help pay for that. I'm not sure.
Do you know anything about their financial situation?
I know that his mom and stepdad are not. They make a lot of money, but they spend it all. And his dad has been very good at saving and is worth probably a couple $1 million.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what are your kids' ages?
They're 6 and 9.
And how much is the term life insurance?
It's for 750,000.
Okay. Have you had any conversations with family and his parents regarding the funeral arrangements?
Not yet. I've inquired with him as to his desires and thoughts on the matter, and he has yet to get back to me. But he's not doing well, so his ability to communicate is limited. And so I'm just wanting to know that, I guess, get your opinion. Like, if they come to me saying, well, he has this life insurance, why should we pay for it? That I kind of have an idea of how I should respond, my best. I
Yeah.
don't know
As
what I
far
should
as
do.
your legal obligation, I don't think you have one. As far as the relational piece of this equation and emotionally and the kids being involved and the parents being involved, the funeral would probably cost, how much do you think? 15,000?
That's what I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay.
20.
It could be lower depending on the situation in your area, but I would at least start to get a picture of what that looks like and start talking to family about it. You don't want any of this to be a surprise and have people angry when you're already grieving this wild loss. So my next
Hmm.
step would be to, at least, if you can't communicate with him, communicate with the family and say, hey, what would the next steps be? How do we want to handle this?
Well, and for sure, starting with the conversation, it's a hard conversation to have, obviously. But then, just kind of depending on how that conversation goes, I would settle in your own spirit beforehand that you may end up paying for it, and that's okay. Because I know a lot of times with funerals, emotions are high. I have heard of so many funeral situations where families get in big fights over money and they end up not talking, and it just gets really,
Hmm.
really messy. And given that you do have the money, I would just settle if you do have to pay for it for the kids' sake, for your own peace of mind. I would just not allow the money behind the funeral to break things down.
Okay.
And another option is just to go, hey, can we all split this evenly with the immediate family? I want to use this money to help set the kids up for financial success, whether that's paying for college, paying off debts that we have as I continue raising them. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with you stating those facts. Are you in a good
Okay.
financial situation?
Mediocre. I have just a little bit of debt I'm trying to pay, but
And you have a
I'm
mortgage?
supporting. I don't. We rent. It's just me and my two kids, and I haven't had any financial support from him for the last since we've been divorced. So
Okay, so there hasn't been any ongoing child support alimony.
no, he hasn't been able to work.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a messy situation, but I mean, and this is just, a lot of times when we're in these situations, it's like if I were in your shoes, I would protect the peace in my home at all costs. I mean, not at all costs. You have $750,000, but if it costs the funeral expenses, I would make sure that my peace of mind, the peace of mind of my children, is that they're protected. As someone who lost a father to cancer at 7 years old, I know that having my mom be able to feel peace through that situation really helped my brother and I. And I think if there was huge turmoil among the family and there were a lot of arguments, that would have made it 10 times harder on us. So obviously, we talk about money here. Money is important. Being strategic with your money is important, but this is also a highly emotional situation. And I would not allow this situation to break down the relationship with your children's grandparents. I wouldn't allow this situation to be something that, causes a lot of strife and discord and turmoil in the family.
And make sure that there is a will that is in place, signed, that's up to date. Go over it with the family. It's not a fun thing to do, but it's going to prevent a lot of relational turmoil down the road. And if there's an executor of that will, that would be who would traditionally take care of the funeral arrangements and potentially pay for it. But again, there's no real hard and fact rule against around that. So this is going to be some hard conversations, and I would be prepared to pay for it, like Christina said. And it's a small part of that life insurance, and it's one of the reasons we tell people to get it in place, because it takes the financial stress out of something that is already so difficult to deal with. So.
Yeah, and it's just a good reminder for anyone listening to really think through those end-of-life situations. I know it's not a fun conversation to have. It's kind of scary. It's kind of sticky, but making sure you have term life insurance, making sure that you have a will done so that your family doesn't have to stress and go through a bunch of strife if you do pass. That's just good to handle.